We have a big panel tonight. It's an important subject. Calls are going to be taken in the course of the debate. And we are opening the debate this evening with Mohandas Pai, former director Infosys, Swaminathan Iyer, consulting editor of the Economic Times, Nirmala Sitharaman of the BJP national spokesperson. Dr. Surjit Bhalla, what a pleasure to see you tonight. I think you're making a debut on the program after a long time. Managing Director of Oxus Research and Investment. Sampath Aniruddhan, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha CPM. My first question naturally is going to be to Dr. Balachandra Mungekar. Dr. Balachandra Mungekar, a family of 5 that earns 5,001 rupees and is therefore not poor in the city of Mumbai cannot afford one room as rent in a slum in Dharavi. So they would have to spend their entire rich income or not poor income in trying to find half a room to live in. They would have no money for food, education, right? Or healthcare. Leave alone healthcare. What are these figures your government is bandying about? Is it criminal? Isn't it a joke on the nation today?
Arnav, we have been living with these poverty estimates and the cutoff line right from 1966, when Dandekar and Rath for the first time statistically quantified the poverty estimates. If you want to change the poverty cutoff line, you are free. And that's why government has appointed the Rangarajan committee. But the question is that so far the present cutoff lines are concerned, between 2004-05 and 2010-11, poverty has declined at the unprecedented rate, 2.32% urban per annum.
So these figures don't amount to anything. No, these figures don't amount to anything. These figures don't amount to anything, sir. I'm sorry.
My point, I will justify this because
Mr. Mungekar, do you acknowledge? Do you acknowledge? Do you acknowledge that these figures have absolutely no relevance to the ground reality in our country? Because it is an accepted fact that the
my dear friend,
yes.
Arnav, just a minute.
Yes,
Arnav,
Mr.
just a minute. Arnav, right from 1966, Dandekar and Rath estimate poverty line, we have revised poverty estimates time and again. And these are the poverty estimates based on the...
You are releasing wrong figures in a pre-election year. You are releasing wrong figures in a pre-election year.
Taken into account.
You are releasing...
expenditure also.
No. You are releasing...
1/3 of the expenditure has been increased in order to define the cutoff point.
Mr. Mungekar,
that's why so far present poverty estimates are concerned. I believe in them. If you want to change the cutoff line, you are free. But at this present of time, I think these are...
It's not me.
Because the growth has become inclusive.
Dr. Mungekar, it is not me who want to change the figures. You were forced to accept last year that your figures were wrong. There was a controversy about this 28 rupees per capita per day definition of a poverty line. At that point of time in the year 2012, in the month of May, your Minister of State for Planning, whose political career hasn't gone off too well since Ashwini Kumar, but he was a minister then. He said the expert group will give its report in 7 to 9 months, right? I calculate that, which means earliest December and latest February, you should have come out with the new figures. A new system of measurement. The Rangarajan committee should have submitted its report. You have not got the report. You've not got this new system of measurement. You're using some statistics, putting an old methodology and coming up with a new figure. And now you'll go to the people of this country and say that we brought down poverty from 38% to 22%. Who's going to believe you, sir? How ethical is that? How ethical is that?
Let us wait for Rangarajan. Rangarajan committee may give another estimate. But as of today, as we are discussing,
then why have you released these estimates?
To me, these estimates
no. One second. Why have you released these estimates?
Because basically, during last 5-6 years, the UPA government has adopted so many poverty alleviation programs and made the growth inclusive.
See, there you're giving yourself a certificate.
Inclusive.
What you're giving yourself a certificate again?
Scheme.
No, we're getting a rebut. One second. I'll get the rebut from the BJP. Mohandas Pai wants to come in, but I think I should get the Congress BJP rebut to this one. Yes, Nirmala Sitharaman, the ball's in your court. The government, the Congress party is defending these poverty line numbers on the Newshour tonight. Your response?
This debate happened 1.5 years ago, as you rightly pointed out. And at that time, we were told for 32 rupees urban and 28 rupees rural. These were just figures. No entitlement will be based on this. After an outcry in the country, that was the response given by the Planning Commission. And we were also told there was a socio-economic survey which is going on. By January that year, we would have had the figures coming, and Rangarajan committee you are referring to would have also given the figures. But the point is, 10 years, and we are still talking about who's poor in this country. You have not determined it. You have not given us a figure. But imagine, now you've already gone further. You're passing a food bill ordinance saying the poorest of the poor will be covered, and you're still debating on these figures, but at the same time saying 70% of urban and 45% of rural will be covered under the scheme. Now, left hand of the government says one thing and the right hand completely says something opposite to this. All this involves money. Now, what is happening in the government? Is there a determination of what is the total budget going to be? Is there a determination that if 33 rupees is spent by an individual, he is not poor and therefore this man is not going to get any food grain? Where is logic in this government's governance?
And if there's no logic, why
are you releasing? On the one hand, you say you want to become inclusive.
Yeah.
On the other, you're determining figures which are ridiculously low. Somebody in the government, please
so why
stand
are you
up and
fudging
answer
figures?
For all these contradictions.
No, why are you fudging figures? This is going to become so controversial today. You see, you had an option. No, you had an option. I want to remind Balachandra Mungekar, who personally, as an economist, I have great respect for. But Dr. Mungekar, you have an option of being ethical. You can tell the people of this country, we cannot present wrong numbers. Numbers that don't include issues like schooling, child enrollment, mortality, nutrition, electricity, sanitation, drinking water, flooring, cooking fuel. Cooking fuel is, you ask anybody today, Mr. Mungekar, what LPG prices are going up by. No, 1 second. You don't want to calculate all that while calculating poverty. So what do you expect the people in cities to cook on? Wood? No, you expect them to cook on wood?
Just at this point, the deteriorating value of the rupee, don't forget that, the falling rupee. If you translate that to these figures, what does it really mean?
Falling rupee, that is altogether a different argument. Let us.
The argument is
the basic question
it is not a different argument.
Started poverty estimates in 1966. Well, at that point of time, they were covered only the calorie norms. 2250 for rural and 1800 for urban areas. My point is that if we want to revise, I believe that we have to revise poverty estimate, we have to take number of issues into question. But the point is, at present, the Tendulkar method which the government has utilized, and on the basis of the mixed reference period that the government.
So let's get the economists in, because let's get the economists in.
The way we have followed poverty estimates, the way we have followed the poverty estimates, I find that these poverty estimates consistent with what the method government has followed.
Sir, you are giving yourself an election slogan in a pre-election year. I'm getting Mohandas Pai and Surjit Balla coming to you, Swaminathan Iyer. We're going to take a quick round in. Mohandas Pai first. Which side are you on the debate?
Arnab, let me give you a set of data points so we understand what it is. The UPA has said that BPL, that is below poverty line sector, has come down to 22%. Now in the food security bill, they want to give free food or almost free food for 65% of the population. That means they feel 65% of population actually below the poverty level, deserve food, are suffering from malnutrition or whatever, so they want to give them food at 1 rupee or 3 rupees, food grains. Next point. I read a report today morning in the Business Standard, which quotes a person who set up a study group by the government, which says 48% of people in rural India who are possibly about 66% of the population, deserve to come below the poverty line because they don't have a government job, they don't have land, they don't have house, they don't have a motorized transport, or don't have a person earning more than 10,000 rupees per month as income. And the next point I want to make is globally, and I think Sujit will bear me out, you take a particular percentage of the per capita income of a population, and below that you hold them to be below the poverty line. India's per capita income last year was 83,000 rupees. Take 80,000 rupees. I
go with your first point.
Of 80,000 rupees.
I think your first point is very relevant. First point is very relevant. Dr. Pai, let's go point by point because I want to get the others in. The first point.
1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay. The first point you make, I just want to go. The first point you make is that the government does not believe in these figures itself. That's proven. Because you want to go by a different calculation while distributing your food bill because you want it to get you the votes. You want another statistic to put up in your ads. You decide, Balachandra Mungekar, which statistic is right, the one you want to put up in your ads or the one you want to use for the food bill. And if you are confused, you can tell us. We are confused between the two. I'm going.
You separate food bill
Swami,
for time right now. The question is, this reduction in the poverty, estimates of poverty, is over a period of nearly 8 or 9 years.
Sir, we are going to...
Between 2004-5 to 2011.
Sir, you are repeating the figures. You are repeating the figures. You are repeating the figures, sir. Sir, you are getting caught in your own statistics.
I am not objecting to
sir, you choose.
the cutoff line of the poverty estimate.
Swami, let me come to you.
What I am basically saying is, it is consistent with the poverty definition we have followed throughout.
Okay, I haven't gone to Swami yet and Surjit Bhalla yet. No, it is not. You can't tell us today that we've used this for the last 50 years and we'll use it today. Swaminathan Iyer.
Okay, let me come in. Arnab, we've got to a stage where you need to understand that every country, as it becomes richer, it has the right to say we will improve our standards, right? So there's nothing wrong with America saying that if you have a house and a car and a fridge and an air conditioner, you are still poor. It's possible to take that particular position. But you should not confuse the situation by constantly jumping from one poverty line to another and ignoring any progress that has been made. Our per capita income has gone up from $300 to $1,800. So there is a case for a Rangarajan committee to put a higher line. Nevertheless, if you want to know what is the progress that has happened in the past, you have to stick with the original line. Later, when the Rangaraj produces line, you can say the same thing. So right now, the Tendulkar line, from here it has gone down here. Rangarajan will start at a higher line
Swami,
and go down there. What we need to focus, one sec. We have to stop this focus on what is the appropriate line, because there is no such thing as the appropriate line.
Great, okay.
And the Americans will say 100% of the population is below poverty by American standards. So please, we had a particular line. We have, according to that line, which is very close to the World Bank line of $1 per day, India has had a record reduction in poverty, 138 billion.
So you believe the numbers?
Reduced in absolute poverty. Please don't tell me I don't believe it. People are laughing at you, Arnab. Do you know that? Do you know that the world over the $1 a day of the World Bank is fully accepted? And they say there are all these Johnnies in India who believe that, somehow the whole thing
one second, Swami, one second.
Let me finish.
Swami, one second. First of all, Swami, one second. Let me ask you something. I am not talking about air conditioners and washing machines and luxuries of life that you claim there. I am asking you here today that generally it is accepted in the HDI Index 2010, which is also accepted worldwide, that you should include nutrition, electricity, sanitation, drinking water, and cooking fuel. I am asking for basics, Swami. I'm not asking us to bring. This is.
No, you are welcome to add all those, and you say therefore at independence 99% were below the poverty line. You can start there. So instead of saying we have fallen right now from 37 to 22 on a higher line, we would have reduced from 99% to 77%. Now instead of focusing on the absolute amount, please focus on the decline. Never in history has there been such a. Now if you take a high poverty line of the kind you are wanting,
this
independence 99%
government
were below the poverty line. It has come down to
this government, if everything is okay, if everything is okay, then why did the government decide to set up? Why did the government decide to set up a technical group under Rangarajan in the first place? And my point is, you see, Swami, one sec. My point is political. My point here is, and I go to Surjit Bhalla also has been wanting to come. So one sec, Swami, I'm coming back to this debate. We're going to have an open round now, right now in some time. The question is this: the government said that we will have a new committee report. We'll set up a report December, January 2013. You should have expected it. That report's not in. How accurate are these figures, Surjit Bhalla? Where do you stand on the debate?
Look, I think there are 2 points I would like to make. First and foremost, I do not think the figures have been cooked or fudged. It is the case, second, that the poverty line in India in real terms has increased by something like 33% since 1973 when the first poverty line was given. And indeed, it is a case that this poverty line needs to be increased further.
so I have to give more food grains for so many people. This is hypocrisy of the first order.
No, I want to know why the government uses.
I completely agree, actually.
Yes, Surjit Bhalla, you agree with that?
I completely
Absolutely.
agree. Yeah. No, 100%. That is my point. I'm sorry, but that is exactly what I wanted to transmit. That this government is completely hypocritical, is playing a political game, and is being fast and dishonest. Precisely this. That's why I said either you decide that your poor people are X or 22%, let's take for argument, or your poor people are 70%. But you cannot have it both ways. And this government goes out of its way to have it both ways. And that's where its dishonesty and its bluff needs to be called.
And do you think people will accept this? You know, you think that people, Balachandra Mungekar, people who you can, you think there is a constituency out there that is not well versed with the economic arguments. There is an audience out there that does not know about Rangarajan and Tendulkar committee reports, and you'll go to them and you'll say we reduced poverty by half. You think they will believe you? Why you must give me an honest answer. Why were the poverty estimates? No, sir, my question is,
enlarges the scope of the definition of the poverty line.
Sir,
we may have some different sets of poverty estimates.
Sir, please.
At present, I think Tendulkar poverty line estimates and the poverty methodology were accepted by all, including the Planning Commission.
Absolutely not.
This has been poverty
absolutely not.
Time and again during
absolutely
the last 30, 40 years.
Absolutely not.
That's why the question is that tomorrow when you are getting Rajar committee's report, you may have some different sets of poverty estimates.
Sir, absolutely
and
not.
Let us see the compare between this and them.
Sir, absolutely not. No, 1 minute. Mohandas Pai, coming to you. Absolutely not. Mr. Mungekar, your government accepted that the system was faulty. And today I am asking you to tell me on the Newshour tonight, why have you put out poverty estimates which are revised using a controversial, contentious, irrelevant methodology which your government itself is in the process of rechecking? Why have you put it out? You tell us why.
I will tell you. These are the poverty estimates. As I mentioned,
these are not the correct poverty estimates.
Between 2004-5 and 11-12, and this is mixed reference period.
Mohandas
We are
Pai.
having two sets of poverty estimates: uniform reference period and mixed reference period. These are the two estimates of poverty. At this point of time, Planning Commission has given these estimates based on Tendulkar method.
Sir, I tell you one thing.
And country has accepted that the Tendulkar method
you are wrong.
was better
Sir, you are wrong again.
The Lakdawala method which was given in 1974 and accepted by the Planning Commission.
No, we are not so confused. Your government rejected this. Sir, you are again wrong. Mr. Mungekar.
My only point is that it is consistent.
Mr. Mungekar, Mohandas Pai has a response to you, and after Mohandas Pai, I will prove to you that your government criticized the Tendulkar committee report. You cannot quote it today. Your government gave up on the Tendulkar committee report. You cannot use it today. Mohandas Pai, your response. Yes, please.
Anna, the short answer every citizen of this country wants to know is what kind of income level should a family of 5 have per month to keep body and soul together in the rural areas and in the urban areas. And the government should tell us, and below that level, and we must define the level, and we must make it acceptable to people, so people understand below that particular income level, government will help them out, above the level below, they will not help them out. Now all this talk about 1966 criteria doesn't gel with people. In the last 3 years, there's been 30% inflation in the CPI.
Absolutely.
People have become poorer in the last 3 years. They cannot afford to live. They cannot afford to eat properly. They can't afford to send their children to school. Most people in this country feel poorer, Arnab, and that's the question they're asking you.
No, I'm asking the question. I'm not swearing by these figures. Mr. Balachandra Mungekar is swearing by the figures. I want Mr. Balachandra Mungekar to answer that, and I want Mr. Balachandra Mungekar, as I take the calls, I want to ask you one more question. Will you promise that if you use this number in your 1 minute, let me complete. If you use this number in your election campaign, you will also put a big subtext below it that families of 5 should be happy with 4,000 rupees in rural India, and families of 5 should be happy with 5,000 rupees in Mumbai and Delhi. Will you also say that, or will you put it in asterisks somewhere? Will you hide that fact somewhere in your ad? Will you hide that fact somewhere in your ad?
Since he has informed the question of the inflation rate, June 12 to June 2013, the rate of consumer price index was 9.87%. May 2013, it was 9.31%. That's why, so far this year is concerned, it is just 0.56% higher.
Sir, you check
Now,
your
9
facts.
or 10%
Sir, you check
rate
your
of
facts. I know these
inflation
facts
for the consumer
verbatim.
price
I
index
know
is
these facts
concerned.
verbatim. I know these facts verbatim. Between
and
February.
government
No,
should try to
1
control
second,
it,
Mr.
but
Mungekar.
it is
Between
not
February and
uncertain.
April, your
These are not
CPI
facts
went
to
up.
be proud about.
It's nothing to be proud about, exactly.
Arnab,
If in a month
just
your
give me a minute.
No, 1 second. If in a month, I'm not an economist, Surjit Bala is, but if in 1 month your CPI index is going up by 5 to 7%, you should really be worried about it. You should be flaunting these statistics, Mr. Mungekar. Nirmala Sitharaman is contradicting
just
you.
give me one
Nirmala
minute.
Sitharaman.
It was not. It was
Nirmala
May
Sitharaman.
2013, it was
Mungekarji.
9.31%.
Nirmala
please,
Sitharaman.
For the
Mungekarji.
entire year, earlier year, it was 9.87%.
No, Mr. Mungekar, please.
So compared
No,
to
no,
May,
Mr.
during-
Mungekar, just listen to me for a minute. Mr. Mungekar, please put down your file, and as
Please.
soon as this program is over, go with a 100-rupee note in your hand to the market which is available nearest and tell
Exactly.
me what you could buy out of it.
Yeah.
And whatever you buy, will it be sufficient to feed just yourself? Leave your family. Will it be enough for you to feed yourself? What are we talking about all the data which is being churned out of Planning Commission? I'm sorry, Mr. Mungekar. I appreciate your earnestness to want to be an academician.
No, no.
Put that aside.
No,
Can you live?
Nirmala Sitharaman, I shall ask you a very simple question. See, I am not preparing my own data. I am not manufacturing my data. You don't manufacture your data. The only question is, today, during last 2 months, the wholesale prices and the consumer price index are rising basically
You're
because
back
of
again
the
on that.
prices of fruits and vegetables. And the demand for fruits and vegetables has been rising because
No.
even the bottom
Sir,
30%
no.
and 40% population
This man doesn't get it.
So
income has been rising.
So what are you saying?
People.
So what are you saying? So what are you saying?
200
So
to
what are you saying?
250
So then I must know
crore
from you.
days.
No. Then I
Jobs
must.
have been
Then
the
then I want.
rural areas.
No.
Rural
You
income
see,
has been rising.
I think-
Yes, sir, because of these welfare measures, the overall income level is rising, and as a result of which, we are finding today.
Now I will. Now I will have to come out. No. 1 second. I will quote the government to you. No. 1 second. No. Mr. Mungekar, Swaminathan Iyer.
Can I just come in?
No. I want to go to Swami for a second. Surjit, coming back to you. Swami is wanting to come into the debate. Swami, yes, please.
Okay. No. Mr. Mungekar is drowning in some kinds of data. Let me just take you to another bunch of data. The consumption data of the same particular survey, which came out, about a month ago, the full data came out. What does it show? It shows that the percentage of people's income being spent on cereals is going down. The percentage being spent on superior foods is going up. The percentage spent on non-foods is going up even more. This is a sign of a society that is gradually getting away from basic foods and hunger to superior foods and
Sir,
non-food items
I don't-
manufactured.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So the broad overall picture, the very same set of data are telling you that people are definitely getting better
Sir,
off.
Swami,
This may be separate from the point you are raising as to-
Swami.
No, let me finish.
No, Swami.
You are-
Who believes
please
that?
Let me finish.
Who will believe that?
There are two separate.
You believe that Indians are now
everyone-
splurging. So your argument is Indians are splurging beyond food. That's your argument.
Indians, no sir.
That compared to 10 years back, Indians have begun splurging.
Please listen. India is a poor country that is getting somewhat better off.
Really?
It remains extremely poor. Nevertheless, the emphasis I'm making is the data show very clearly that from being an extraordinarily poor place, you are becoming a somewhat less poor place.
Well, I know.
Instead, I find people, you are never coming with data and saying, would you be satisfied with this? As though the middle class
I'm not.
satisfaction line
No, I'm
is
not.
the same as the poverty
No, I'm
line.
not. I'm asking.
sorry,
No,
the middle
Swami.
class satisfaction
Swami.
line
No,
is
Swami.
not the poverty line.
Swami, I'm not. Swami, I'm not. I am not coming up with something completely fantastical as your president. I am coming up, and now I will quote the government of India
It is
to the
not
government of
fantastic,
India.
it is middle
No,
class.
the government of India said, and that's where the politics of it should not be forgotten, Swami. The government of India said in May 2002 at a press conference addressed by Ashwini Kumar, in which Montek Singh Ahluwalia, who was either sulking or strategically not present at that press conference, Ashwini Kumar had the press conference. Ashwini Kumar said, and I quote him today, I quote him, he said, we should look at an income that enables a person to fulfill his needs and live a dignified life. Any other definition that does not satisfy this rationale will not find popular acceptance. This is the government of India on record, sir. And I'm asking today, Mr. Mungekar, this is your government. Are you going to tell me there's one Ashwini Kumar point of view, one Yojana Bhavan, Montek Singh Ahluwalia point of view, then there's going to be one North Block point of view? Which point of view should we believe?
Arnav, very simple thing. What you quoted is 2002, and these countries should go for poverty estimate and poverty line,
So please,
which will be giving decent living condition to the people.
So let's get
You
real.
are not discussing that. You are not revising poverty estimate.
Okay,
you
now
are challenging the poverty estimate given by the planning commission, which I think
I'm flooded with
taking
calls.
into account during 11-year rate of growth, which was average around 8%, making growth inclusive through separate poverty alleviation programs. Rural income has been rising, and therefore the bottom 40% people are now demanding more nutritious
Sir, I
food.
think this is a
Their
view which will
consumption
not...
pattern is
Sir, I
changing.
challenge you.
But bottom 40% cereal consumption is
okay,
going
we're
down.
going to take some
They are
callers.
demanding more food, more nutritious
Sujit.
food, meat, egg, fish, fruit, vegetable, etc.
Sujit, Dr. Bhalla, Dr. Sujit Bhalla.
Because supply is
Dr. Sujit Bhalla, Dr. Sujit Bhalla, before my first caller, Dr. Bhalla.
Mr. Mungekar, if I believe what you're saying, then why are you coming out with a food bill that wants to increase
Exactly.
cereals, that wants to increase these very same items that you keep saying that they're moving away from? You are speaking with a two-edged, forked tongue. Please tell us, which one are you
100%.
believing in? Are you believing in that the poor are
That's
getting
right.
better, so they do not need the basic inferior cereals? Or do you believe that the poor are getting worse off, in which case we should increase it?
I have one point
Please
of view.
tell us, when you come out with a food security bill, you speak one language. When you come out with the poverty numbers, you speak another language. When you come to inflation, you come out with yet a third language.
Mr. Bhalla,
No, you haven't replied. You've taken all day and you haven't yet answered the very
Exactly,
simple
that same question is being asked.
Poverty is, it is bad to be below poverty
The
line.
same question is being rephrased and you keep coming up with the same answer which we don't understand.
The cut-off line say 25 rupees. Immediately above the people...
We are not talking about the cut-off line.
28, 20,
We are not talking about the cut-off
Not
line.
excluded. No. My point, poverty line is basically a cut-off line.
So what
Poverty
cut-off
line
line?
is basically
So you don't
cut-off
believe
line.
in...
Baba, I'm not
There
talking
cannot
about
be without cut-off point.
So, okay, well,
That's
first
why
caller on the program.
food
We're not going to
Did
find
I
resolution.
mention the cut-off line?
Wait, Mr. Sujit Bhalla and Balachandra Mungekar, we're not going to come to an agreement on it. But let me say this decidedly, I'm sorry, Mr. Mungekar, but I don't want to say it unless, I don't think Swami is really supporting you, but I find that you're in a minority of one tonight. And I don't know if that is accidental. Our first caller is Kapil, sorry. Kapil is calling in from Delhi. Okay, Kapil. Go ahead. Good evening.
Hello.
Kapil,
I'm speaking from Delhi. I'm Kapil. This government is living in a fool's paradise.
Okay,
They want
Kapil.
to eat two fruits at the same time. One for reduction of poverty, other for providing food security. And one problem which everybody is missing. Who will finance the food security?
Well, that's a good point. Well, they'll use that other statistic to finance food security. That's the problem. And I think Sujit Bhalla asked that question about 10 times on the Newshour tonight, and he hasn't got an answer. Nirmala Sitharaman asked the question 7 times on the Newshour tonight. I haven't calculated the others, but I've asked the question about 15 times on the Newshour tonight. I think the simple answer, Mr. Mungekar, you should tell us is that we will not use these figures to unveil our big mega political plan. Why don't you be honest and say that our politics is different from our economics? Cosmetic economics on one side.
Who gave me the freedom to tell me honesty or dishonesty? When I define because of
Oh
my
my
conviction. You don't have right to decide whether
But
I'm
Mr.
honest or dishonest.
But Mr. Mungekar, you tell
can't
me.
pass the value judgment. My point is...
Mr. Mungekar, you tell me.
Absolutely.
You tell me. Will you apply these figures?
I don't refer... My only point is... My only point is basically you cannot have poverty line without the cut-off point.
Sir, you are...
I am explaining why the poverty line people declined
Sir,
during
will
last
you-
10 years
will
because
you-
one rate of growth,
will
as
you-
Mr. Surjit Bhalla is saying,
Will you use
Surjit
these
Bhalla
figures?
is basically right, attributing
will
poverty
you-
reduction to
will you-
higher rate of
will
economic
you-
growth.
will you
But
then tell
second,
the- will you-
also
will you tell-
simultaneously
Mr.
growth has become
Mungekar,
inclusive.
Mr. Mungekar, I'm sorry
During
that you took
last
offense to the
10
use of
years,
the word
several
honesty.
measures have been-
No, honesty is a positive word. I don't find any negative connotation to the word honesty. And I've always asked people on the Newshour to give honest replies. It's never personal. I expect everyone to be honest. I'm asking an honest question and I want an honest answer. My honest question is, will you use these figures while unrolling your scheme? Or will the Congress party say that our food security bill will be targeted at only now 21.9% of the population? Because you know what? We've done a great job in reducing poverty. So the food bill will apply to only 21% of the people. If that is what you want to say, tell me that today. But you won't say that.
No, 20 poverty line. It is not only concerning poverty line. It is covering
not
priority
necessarily
sector,
coming
the
from-
So
urban
then
and
you-
rural India, as well as it will be covering the people, those who are slightly above the poverty
Who
line.
decides that?
It is the non-priority sector.
Oh.
50% and there is, I do not find there is any politics so far involved.
Second caller, Ali is calling in from Mumbai. Ali, good evening. Who's your point
Good
to?
evening, sir. Good evening, sir. I just want to answer this congressman, okay?
Yeah, go.
I just want to answer this congressman who's sitting in the corner and talking to such a lot of things, okay? Hello?
Go ahead, make your point quickly and don't make it personal. Yes.
No, it isn't personal. This guy is smiling, laughing. Has he ever seen the poverty of the people?
Okay. So you're saying he's out of touch with the reality. Ali, thanks for calling in. I'm going to take one more caller before I wrap this up.
Just let me come in there.
Nirmala Sitharaman, 3 minutes on the debate.
Actually, Mr. Ali, who called in just now, stole my words. I was asking you to give me just one line time because I thought the way in which this debate is going on, because of the way in which we are churning out, sterile statistics which actually don't mean much, and the way in which we are discussing it, not to blame anybody. I couldn't help smile on my face. It's almost like criticizing my own self, saying, what are we up to? Where are we getting in this debate? It is hurting. We are talking about poverty, and I'm glad, Mr. Ali, I'm grateful that Mr. Ali, the caller, mentioned about it. We are talking about poverty. We are talking about who's earning how much grain should be given. But because of the way in which we are milling
Arnav, one
around,
question I want to ask
getting
Nirmala
nowhere
Sitharaman.
with
One
sterile
question, last.
statistics, we are holding
Okay.
smiles in
Give
our
me 15
face, a
seconds.
smirk in our face, which actually gives a very bad impression. And I feel sorry
Give
for
me
it.
only 15 seconds, sir, now.
Okay, counter question, 15 seconds. Debate, time left, 1.5 minutes.
I want to ask Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, when NDA government was ruling between 1988, 99 and 2004-5, which statistic they were using? Was BJP creating own statistics for their depending upon planning commission? What is the source of statistics when the NDA was ruling? Did they have the statistics other than the planning commission?
Now give an answer to that, then we move on. Yeah, give an answer. It's a good question. Give an answer.
I'll answer that if he just halts for a minute.
You don't have answer.
We have not spent time as much as Mr. Mungekar discussing statistics. Mr. Vajpayee made sure at the central government's expense,
Last
grains
caller.
would reach the people even when there was drought. We did not sit back watching the price rise and touch the sky. We maintained
You are
price
discussing
control.
beside the point.
There
You are
was
discussing
enough
beside the point.
availability.
Okay.
There was no
Okay.
such
I am
inflation.
Okay, ceasefire on this.
These sources of
One last caller.
statistics
No, hold
were
on.
available to you when
Hold
NDA was
on.
ruling.
You've been turning pages.
Don't bring Mr. Vajpayee in the
You've
picture.
been turning pages to prove. No, hold on, Mr.
What were your
Mungekar,
sources of
kindly.
statistics when you were ruling?
No, one sec. We're not going to
You
get...
hold on,
Other
Mr.
than economic
Mungekar.
survey, other than CSO, other than planning commission,
Hold on,
other
Mr.
than
Mungekar, you've
NSSO.
asked
What
it.
were your sources of?
Okay, we'll debate that. We'll debate that.
How did you determine your
No,
economic policy?
I wish Mr. Mungekar holds on for a minute.
I believe
I
we
want
need to look at the
answer.
present.
He's a scholar.
I believe we
He's
need
a
to look at the
scholar.
present. No, Ms. Sitharaman, one second. I genuinely
No, for a
believe...
minute.
I
Let me
believe
answer
we
this
need
for
to
a
look at
minute.
the present because I find this whole discussion of what was happening in your time, it's interesting. It's interesting debate, but I don't know whether people watching today want to ask what's going to happen to them rather than go back. But fact is, answer also is you were using the same statistic. These statistics have stayed there for 50
no,
years
that's fine,
now.
but we made
That's
sure
all.
that
Yeah, that's
when...
all.
No, Arnav, just listen to
One
me
caller.
for a minute.
One
Arnav.
caller.
We may have used the same figure, But we didn't wait for the day when we have to quote it from the paper. We straight reached
One
out
caller.
to the people, reached the grains, kept the prices
One
down.
caller.
Inflation was not
One
like
caller.
this. Money value was better.
One
Therefore,
One,
Mr. Mungekar, you may turn any number of pages. But
well,
you're ineffective.
you know, I said this earlier, and I know that there have been references to TV debates made by important politicians in recent days. I think the debate on the economy, prices, and the relevance of these figures is the most relevant debate in the country today. Our last caller, calling in from the city of Pune, and it's Mr. Venugopal. Please reduce the volume on your television set, otherwise we won't be able to hear you clearly. And go ahead. That's right.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Yeah, I just saw your calculation where there is a shortfall of 14 rupees in food itself. Then what about education, health and old age benefits? Who will take care of that?
Well, those will be considered luxuries, I guess, Mr. Venugopal. Well, I think, but you've been spot on. You've been spot on. You've been spot on. Indians deserve more, but more than anything else, Mr. Mungekar, Indians also deserve straightforward, relevant, and applicable statistics. We'll follow the debate up. We'll continue the debate. I thank my callers. We're going into debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight. Thank you to all my guests for joining us on debate number 1. Back in a few minutes on the Newshour.
On the Newshour tonight, Shatrughan Sinha says comparing Modi and Vajpayee is like comparing Ranbir and Salman.